Buonasera, signore, buonasera. Com'è bello stare a Napoli e sognare. Quante volte ho sussurrato amore ti amo. Buonasera, signore, kiss me goodnight. Buonasera, signore, kiss me goodnight.
Buona Sera, Charles.
Buona Sera, Lena. Buona Sera. What a great day. What a great day.
You always say it's a great day. I like that, meaning that every day is a great day.
You know, it's always fun to look forward to, you know, the culture, everything we're talking about, the guest. It is really a great thing that we have here.
Yeah, I'm having a great time, Charles. And thank you, everyone, for watching.
Absolutely. Thank you. And we have some great Italian heritage interviews that are going on. And it's just really a great way to learn more about our culture.
Yes. So my beautiful background today, which I better be careful or I'll fall off. I know you know where this is.
This is Cefalù, and one of my great-grandmother is from there. And what a great place to pick. There's a lot of people from New Orleans that look at Cefalù as their hometown.
Yeah, I know you were telling me all about that. And it's also pronounced Cefalù, right?
You're right. I was pronouncing it the Monroe way.
Right, which we of course know we Italians pronounce everything differently, and it's okay. Except for Nutella. Anyway, I'm on the top of Larocca, which I had to do this today because, you know, we've talked about Nick Larocca so much, and I didn't realize there was actually, you know, a mountaintop called Larocca.
It is fabulous that so many villages were built on mountaintops for security reasons.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yes.
This is once the site of a Norman castle. Do you know what that is?
Yes, there was a lot of invasions in Sicily, we know, and then they moved up the hills to protect themselves, like I said, for security reasons.
So the information about this said it's a 284-meter climb along a progressively worsening trail to reach the top. And it's not easy, but it's worth it because these spectacular views of the coastline, you got to do it.
You got to do it. I mean, thinking about that, that would be roughly 900 feet. So that's a good viewpoint to be up about 900 feet.
Yeah, and it's just so beautiful. And the red rooftops.
It's a beautiful city, and they got the cathedral right there down at the base. It's just got a great history. And like I said, we have a very active society of Cefalù here in Louisiana. So they're up and down from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. A lot of people from Cefalù call Louisiana home. So this is great to recognize them.
Awesome. So shout out to all our Cefalù Louisianians.
Yes, the word is Cefalutana.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what about you, Charles? What you got going on your background?
Well, the local version of this is Independence, Louisiana, one of our favorite towns in Louisiana. And you can see they fly the Sicilian flag. They have a Sicilian festival. They don't call themselves Italians. You know, we have that great controversy going on, whether we're Italian or Sicilians, depending on when you were born or your ancestors came to America. So it's in Independence, they fly the Sicilian flags. The town is covered with Sicilian flags, and you can see the water tower actually has the Italian flag colors on it. So they have an amazing festival. They have a great museum that they took over. Also there, they have Spaghetti Festival. And one of the things that's, you know, a little maybe controversial, but I did go, I loved it, is they have a meatball toss during their festival. Okay. And Louisiana has all these festivals. There's the Frog Festival. There's the Orange Festival. There's the Crawfish Festival. So a lot of high school girls are the queens of all these festivals, like maybe 30 or 40 of them. So they're throwing this meatball back and forth with these lovely crowns that they wear. It's fabulous, Lena. They're trying to do a lot to keep the heritage there. They teach Sicilian in Independence, Sicilian classes. And they also have a Kagutsa competition now in August. So that's another thing to put down is going to the Kagutsa competition.
Well, that's awesome, Charles. We love independence. All right, Charles, I have to check this out today. just for you, Charles. I saw this and I thought I've got to say this on the show. It is a portable espresso maker.
For the guy on the road, the Italian on the road needs a portable espresso maker.
Yes, and you are an Italian on the road. So this plugs into the car. It heats the water, and it's got an automatic cleaning function, and it's also compatible with the Nespresso capsules. And it's a little pricey, but how cool is that you can just go, I'm ready for espresso right now, and make it in your car. It's $125.99 on Amazon. And if you have Prime, of course, if you don't like it, you can send it back. There's some really great reviews of this, and I thought you would like to check it out, Charles.
I look forward to testing it out.
So here's our favorite part, Charles. Charles celebrates culture.
We have so many great people in New Orleans and Louisiana and in the region, really outside to talk to. And this week we feature Father Damian Zablocki. He is not Italian, but he is one of the most Italian people in the region. He was in New Jersey, and he was taken in and mentored by an Italian priest who was born in Italy. And then he got transferred to New Orleans, and Father Zablocki is just so passionate. He says, he blessed numerous St. Joseph altars every year, says the Mass in Latin in Covington. And we're so blessed to have a priest, a new young priest. He's only been ordained 2 years ago, and that was at St. Mary's. So the fact that he's here now, and he believes Italian heritage and families is what the church needs, and what the world needs is the culture of Italians. So he's doing his best to showcase this.
Well, I love him already.
So Lena, Father Damian came to me about wanting a feast day, and it turns out the feast of Saint Expedite, or actually Saint Expedito, is April 19th. But Saint Expedito, I learned, was in Independence. And when I was there touring the museum, they have their banner hanging from the 1930s. And he was a patron saint of actually ending procrastination, do things today. He also is a patron saint of finance, and he's been prayed to by Sicilians for many things. There's a statue of him on Rampart Street at Our Lady of Guadalupe. And there was a chapel that they built in Independence for him. So Father Damian actually has brought him back. You can see his banner in the procession, and the Saint Expedite Lodge has been founded. It's now part of the Italian Sons and Daughters of America through Basil Russo's group. And they put on the Italian St. Joseph's Jazz Festival that we had at Homer's House recently. So it's a very active lodge. It's $25 a year for the dues. And every month you get a newspaper. It's 28 pages on nationally what's going on with Italians. So it's really neat. We're having a young professional Italians group. Somebody has taken over creating that. So we're very excited about the potential of Saint Expedite and resurrecting it. I mean, here we have something that Independence was doing, and we're bringing it back.
So Saint Expedite, you can pray to for procrastination?
The legend, I think, happened was in Independence during the Great Depression. People were praying to him that they wouldn't lose their farms. And then I found in Palermo, there's a novena, I believe a 9-day novena to him for many things. So he is a saint for intervention during tough times. So it's on our website, sicilyjournal.com. You can read the whole novena to him. And they sell here in New Orleans holy cards and medals for him. He's really, most people first hear that and they think this is a joke, but actually it's a very serious thing.
I think it's wonderful, Charles, that you are teaching us, us who do not know about Saint Expedite, about this. It's great knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lena. Yeah, I'm having so much fun learning about things that we need to be passing on to the next generation. And our show and other methods will allow us to do that. Lena, the interview I recently did with Father Damian kind of covers everything that I've just explained to you.
And tell me about Saint Expedite.
So Saint Expedite is a expedite, if they call him, or expedito. So he was probably an early Christian martyr, and very often when the names were not found at the relics of who these martyrs were, they would give them names that corresponded to their virtues. So you would have Gaudentia and, and Expedite. Some people tell the story that it was actually, he arrived in a case to New Orleans. A statue arrived and it said Expedite on the outside, so they thought it meant Saint Expedite. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'd prefer to believe it was because of his virtue of praying so quickly for the people who go to him. Actually, from an Italian priest that I had confessed to one time, he was a very holy priest, Father Dante. He had a statue sitting on his desk of Saint Expedite, and he said he's holding up the cross that says hodie, which means today, and he's stamping on a crow, which says tomorrow. So when it comes to our faith, when it comes to anything that we have to do relating to our salvation, we have to act now and not wait, because you never know if you will not have a tomorrow.
That's so true. That is a powerful statue. From my travels, I found that Independence, there was actually a Saint Expedite Society. That's how I first noticed them, that they had a banner there from the 1930s that someone had gotten through the Depression and built a chapel in honor of Saint Expedite there.
One of the banners was given for protection to the Chapel of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, the Latin Mass Chapel. So we're going to strive to have his feast day and make him more known again in the Catholic community here.
Well, being on the North Shore, you're closer to Independence, and I think there's some people from Independence that would appreciate that.
I think so. So we're going to have to work out. We're going to have a festival. We have to have a festival for everything.
We should.
That was wonderful. I love Father Damian, and I'm so glad you interviewed him, and so glad that he's doing what he's doing and that you're doing what you're doing. Thank you so much, Charles, for your great segment.
All right. Thank you, Lena.
Celebrating Culture is brought to you by Awe News. Awe News also produces New Orleans Insider Tours, which are 10 self-guided tours of New Orleans and Louisiana. To download the apps, all you have to do is point your phone at the flow code in the camera mode, and you're ready to really experience Louisiana.
Okay, so it's time for La Musica today, and guess what? We're doing something different today. I actually interviewed someone.
I love that. Great idea. Great idea.
So I hope I did a good job, Charles. You'll have to let me know. Anyway, so because we feel that music education is so important, we're featuring a music educator who is an Italian-American here in New Orleans. He's also a musician, and he teaches at Jesuit, Charles, where you graduated. Yes, and tell us a little bit about the Caluta family.
Well, the great thing is I was a drummer in the band for 5 years. Marion Caluta was the band director, and Joe Caluta was there playing clarinet. And he would come in during breaks and play drums. And then finally his dad realized he had such a great drummer skills that Joe moved to the drum section. Joe went on to play with Persia locally, but Gino Vanelli, he's played with some great people, written a lot of wonderful music. And then he becomes the band director. So Joe's been there for decades, and Mary was there for decades. The Caluta family, this Italian influence is very strong at the Jesuit band.
Isn't that awesome, Charles? And our guest today, his grandparents are also from Independence.
It's an Independence type day.
Yes. So right now we're going to meet Jason Jaconey.
I love it.
Welcome, Jason Jaconey.
Howdy, howdy.
It's great to see you.
Oh, it's fantastic to see you too, Lena.
You're my first interview guest for La Musica on Buona Sera Louisiana, so yay. So let's just get right into it. So you teach music at Jesuit, which my dad famously was kicked out of Jesuit right before couple weeks before graduation. And also Charles Marsala, my co-host, graduated from Jesuit, which is so cool. So tell us where you're from in Louisiana and how you ended up teaching music at Jesuit.
Well, I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And, I was always influenced with music as a kid. Over time, I've played in, middle school bands, high school bands. And then, I finally graduated from Louisiana Tech University in trumpet, and I wanted to come to New Orleans because that's the city where you make music, you meet people, cultures, food, and just have a great time. And it brought me down to New Orleans. I was coming down to work on my master's degree in music. somehow started but didn't finish. And I was working at a video store, Blockbuster. I heard about a job opening at Jesuit High School, and I knew of the school, and I knew it was a great school. And I was like, well, that's a possibility. So I went to work and thinking about how I'm going to make my resume happen. And it's an awesome story, because I went there and it was Saturday night rush hour. A lady comes in with 2 small kids, and she was at the end of the line and they're crying, you know, like all the kids are doing sometimes. And she finally makes it up to the front, and she didn't have her card. And I tried to look her up in the database and I couldn't. So I needed to have her ID and all kind of stuff. And I told her that she needed to start her membership over again. So she was very upset, waiting in line for 45 minutes. So she stormed out, and then a gentleman walks in, and I could tell that he was her husband. So I called him over here to the register, and I was like, I'm one of the managers. I want to take care of you. I want to make things work. I want it to happen. And he came up there and he's like, no, I'll just go through the whole process of doing the application. He puts on there, you know, his name, and then he puts his place of employment. And on the application, he puts Jesuit High School. I was like, my name's Jason Jaconey, former drum major at LA Tech. I'm thinking about submitting my, resume for employment there. And he goes, that's fantastic. I was like, well, what's your name? He goes, well, my name's Joe Kaluta. And so we just sat there and in this rush hour, and we're sitting there talking for like 30 more minutes, and his wife's still in the car with the kids wanting their movies. And then she storms in and she goes, what's going on? And he goes, I think we may have found my assistant.
That's a great story. It was meant to be. So
20 years later.
Yeah. So tell us everything you do at Jesuit.
I'm the associate director of bands. I start off, I'm a jazz band director. So I love, playing with the boys in terms of getting, the kind of keeping the culture alive of New Orleans, different styles of funk, swing, all kind of wonderful, genres of jazz. And I help with the marching band. And I also conduct the Philharmonic Society. So basically the play. So I'm the maestro. The kids call me maestro, which is always cool. So I even have that on my shirt here. I'm the maestro. So
when the marching band is in Mardi Gras, are you there too?
Oh, absolutely. Usually Joe's on the left side and I'm on the right side. So we're marching down for the parades of Carrollton. We do Bacchus. We have a float for Mid-City. So my jazz band usually rides with that. Usually we march in Disney World.
There's been some famous alums from Jesuit like Pete Fountain, Al Hurt.
We've had some great, Harry Connick Jr., he's definitely been here. We have some newer alums. We have a young man named David Castillo. He is an international opera star. So he works in Los Angeles, but he's worked in New York. And he was actually, when I first started in 2001, he was an 8th grader playing trumpet. And by the time he graduated, he's getting a full scholarship to Loyola and singing opera, and he's in commercials and stuff now. It's pretty amazing to see, former students actually getting out there and performing.
What do you do to keep the band doing things that are modern in order to compete with other schools and their music programs?
It's a tricky balance to get the kids motivated. We try to make band fun. We try to incorporate a little bit more modern music. We try to incorporate more, theatrics with like sound design and lighting, so that the kids can feel like they're part of the 21st century now. And one year we did like a rock show, and at the end of the performance, we didn't tell anybody, but we shot up fireworks at the end of our marching contest at East Jefferson Stadium, and no one knew. We try to, make it fun. And I mean, that's just one little small aspect of having, like fireworks, and it was funny because the adjudicators, as we were, they were giving us our rankings and marks, they're like, whoa, that's never happened at a marching contest before. And I was like, well, that's Jesuit leaving our fun mark for the community to see that we're having fun.
I'm wondering if you have ever thought of incorporating any Italian music in a more modern way in your department.
I've definitely tried to add that culture to what we do, not just as an educator, but, in what I do, because I feel like that part of history and that part of culture, it needs to have a rebirth, so to speak.
Yeah. So let's talk about your heritage. Where is your family heritage from?
My great-grandfather and my grandmother, they're both from Sicily. My grandfather, Leonardo, he and my grandmother, Maria Rose, were both from Campo Fiorito. And then my grandmother from my mother's side, she's a Rapolo. I know that definitely the whole family is definitely Sicilian. In the 1880s, my grandfather, Leonardo, great-grandfather, he came because of the famine of Sicily, and they wanted to find a better place for the family, and he would go back and forth between Donaldsonville and Sicily for a while until he finally bought a farm in 1919 in Independence. We just celebrated our 100th anniversary of that farm in 2019. We had a big family gathering. A lot of history with them. I mean, moving into Independence, I just remember as a kid going to a lot of festivals in Independence, getting to try all the food. And so for them coming in, that's one of my main goals. I'd like to get out to the country of Sicily. I've had the opportunity of going to Italy with the Jesuit band. We have an exchange program that we do, and we've had some excursions. We've been to Rome, we've been to Venice, we've been to Milan.
So the Coludas have a family legacy at Jesuit. Tell us a little bit about that.
When I started here, obviously I met the son of Marion Coluda. He was the band director in the 70s for Jesuit, and his son took over, I think it was around 92. This is my 20th year, and this is 29th year. So he took over for his father, and his father tried to instill upon, the school to promote music, and he was a great man. He had a great smile, and I can definitely sense the passion that his son is as a band director here. It's one of those things where once we met the first time, I knew it was going to be a symbiotic, wonderful relationship between me and Joe Coluda.
Let's talk about the importance of the music programs in schools, because for me, that was the thing that kept me getting excited about going to school every day and kept me wanting to get good grades so I could stay in the music department. So how do you feel about it? And did that affect you the same way?
Oh, absolutely. My band directors when I was a kid, I am grateful, honored, and humbled to just say thank you to them, because without them, I wouldn't be the man, the musician, the husband I am today because of their inspiration. They are the ones who inspire us, and now I'm that person, which it's a big shoes to fill. But I feel like every time I speak to my students, every time I perform, every time they see me, every time I see them, magic happens. I know that you've experienced that as well, and it's just nothing better than having an interaction of 1, 2, 3, 5,000 people just coming together just to enjoy the love of music. And I owe that to my teachers.
And it's just so wonderful that you are now in that role. It's such an important role. A great teacher can make such a difference in a young person's life. And so bravo, bravo, Jason, for doing what you do. Tell us about your musical career outside of teaching.
Okay. Well, I'm currently in a kind of a dance wedding cover band called Uptown Funk, like the song, but it's spelled P-H-U-N-K. I'm a freelance trumpet player. I play various wedding ceremonies in musicals around the city. I've played at various high schools, but I've played at JPass. I've played at Le Petit. I've had the opportunity to play and act on stage at JPass, which we did Funny Girl. I got hired for the gig because I would be the cornet man on stage that actually would play the horn, because most of the time it's just somebody as an actor just holding up the horn. So
you wouldn't want to pick up the horn and play something right now.
I would love to. Let me see. This one's going to go to my dad.
Okay.
All right.
That was awesome. Thanks for doing that. And thanks so much for being my first interviewee. Interviewee, is that the right?
That sounds perfect for me. This is my first time being interviewed. So this is a special treat for me, Lena.
It's great having you on the show. What you're doing is so important and you're so much appreciated. So just keep it going and carrying on our music traditions and our heritage traditions as well. Jason, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Lena.
Yay, Jason.
Jason, that is awesome. That is like, what a tribute to independence. What a tribute to Jesuit. So many things he hits on.
It is. And a great teacher can make such a difference in a young person's life. You know, you just don't know what's going on in kids' lives. And so that music class means something to them. And then to have a great teacher that cares so much. So bravo, Jason Jaconey. Yeah. And how nice of him to play a little trumpet for us.
I thought that was fabulous. I mean, you know, you can just tell the interview that how important family is to him and what they're still doing in independence. I mean, it just shows how tight independence is with the culture.
Yeah, and the cookie making. I mean, come on.
It's all about making cookies.
It made me hungry. I wanted to grab the cookies, out of the picture. All right, Charles. Well, great time today with you again.
Lena's fabulous, and there's a lot of good things going on behind the scenes as well.
Yes, thank you all so much for watching. We really appreciate it.
Ciao, 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 ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Quante volte ho sussurrato amore ti amo. Buona sera, signore, kiss me goodnight.
There's a lot more to see and do outside New Orleans. New Orleans Insider Tour app actually has numerous other places to visit, such as Lake Pontchartrain, where New Orleans was discovered. With these apps, you can really experience all Louisiana has to offer.
Hi, I'm Lena Prima. My music is available on Amazon and iTunes, also BasonStreetRecords.com and LenaPrima.com. Please like my Facebook page, Lena Prima Official, and follow me on Instagram at Lena Prima. I would love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, Lena Prima. Thank you so much. Ciao.
Our New Orleans Insider Tour app features a Statue, Stories, and Spirits tour. It's a great way to learn about New Orleans. There are over 150 markers that all have a little story. Here, we're at the marker to Edward Wisner, a man who was told to come to Louisiana to improve his health. He invented a pump and drained over 30,000 acres of land. The royalties of gas and oil now go to New Orleans, Tulane, LSU, and the Salvation Army. We have a lot of great stories in our app that'll add to your enjoyment and appreciation of New Orleans. It's simple to use with GPS, text, photos, and video.